And hello again, Internet! Well, here we are on the last day of 2016, and my oh my, what a year it has been. It's had its ups, it's had its lots of downs, and, well, let's just hope that 2017 is going to be a bit better. We can always try looking on the bright side. Whatever happens in the coming year will be at least an experience, one we should keep our eye out for. Now, I said I was going to do something special today, and I've decided to, since it's kind of tradition at the end of the year, to take a look back at some of our favorites or least favorites of the year. And I'm not going to do my least favorites, but since I focus on retro games, I'm going to go ahead and give my top 10 PC games that I've played of 1996. Now, this list, I will include it in the text below. That is assuming... Wait, what? Upgrade? Oh, I guess there's one I can upgrade, isn't there? There we go. Sorry about that. Assuming that Twitch actually lets me update the text, it hasn't been in a while. I am going to put it down there. It'll be down there on YouTube. I'll have the list because I'm just going to be talking the list while I play the game. And at the end of my list, I will give the review of this particular game. And I figure this is a good way for me to actually do something more recent and still tie to the past while having my unique take on things. Now, this list will not include some titles that are kind of obvious to some simply because I have not played them. I haven't gotten around to some of the titles, and I'll get to some of those when we get to the end of the list here. And it will include some things that I can almost guarantee you aren't on anyone else's list simply because I like obscure games. I like niche titles, and I want to see these get more attention. So I'm going to include them for that alone. As I said, meanwhile, I'm going to go ahead and be playing this game since I don't do the editing, I just do live play. So that's another reason why I'm going to go ahead and type the list out, because I don't have those nice little 10, 9, 8 markers. So it's just going to be what it is. Oopsie. So, number 10. Like I said, my list is going to include some unusual ones. Realms of the Haunting. The ultimate battleground between good and evil. Or the battleground between ultimate good and evil. I forget exactly what the subtitle is. But this is a game that I've had for quite some time and didn't get around to playing until we did it for the show. It's one that is available on Steam and the like. And when I finally did play it, this is that odd combination first-person shooter and point-and-click adventure game, complete with all the tropes therein and some FMV story and the like. But when I finally did get around to playing it, I thoroughly enjoyed the experience. Now, it's not the best first-person shooter by any means. That was kind of slapped on, it felt. But the actual story for the game and the point-and-click aspect was fairly well done. The cinematics, there was some rough acting, sure, but for the most part were quite good. You could tell what all the characters were, their motivations, their acting was pretty good. The special effects, it was 90s CGI for stuff, but the fact that it had the low resolution as well as, the cheesy effects, it actually seemed to make it blend better. So this is the case where the lower quality actually helped the title. And I really liked it. There was some unique stuff, and it's a game the likes of which I'd never played before. And I'm very glad I got a chance to, and I hope that some others were inspired to play it as well. Yeah, and I'm not going to talk that much about the various games, but, because, going to talk about this game as well. Just sit back and play and chill and hope that you guys enjoy the list. So there we are, number 10, Realms of the Haunting. For me, number 9 is The Neverhood. Now, this is not a game I've shown on this show yet. In fact, it's the only one on the list that I don't actually have a disc of. This is one that I played a friend's copy of, and had to give it back at the end, but I really enjoyed it. For those that don't know, this is also kind of a puzzle Mist's kind of adventure game, although you actually control a character going around in the world, more like Out of This World or Another World, depending on where you live, or, well, Bad Mojo this year, which was also this year and did not make the list. The thing about the Neverhood is it's done entirely, there's no dialogue. In fact, I'm not sure there was much text in it. I think there actually was the one area that just has this really long story. But the entire thing is done in claymation, so the effects are interesting and unique in that aspect. The puzzles were good, the story was quite interesting, and I haven't played this game in many, many years, but if you can find a copy of it, I don't know if this one is still available anymore. I would be kind of shocked if someone hasn't brought it back. But for a rather unique experience, and I know there's been a couple spiritual sequels, at least in development. I don't know if any of them were ever made. But number 9 is The Neverhood. And, this is going a bit quicker than I was expecting, really, because I don't have all that much to say about these various games, but I did want to get my opinions out there a bit. So, number 8, and some of you are going to hate how low this is on the list, but for number 8, I say Quake. Yep, the original Quake. One of the first true 3D first-person shooters. I say one of the first because it wasn't the first. I'm sorry. Bethesda beat you to it with Terminator Future Shock. But the reason it's so low on the list, at least for me, I don't personally like Quake that much. I mean, I get what they were doing with it. Okay, I have no idea what happened. It's like, I get what they were doing with it. I'm glad it exists because it kind of opened the doors to what 3D first-person shooters could be. It did give us some good mouse look, even though, again, Terminator Future Shock did that first. But Quake gets a lot more attention than I honestly think it deserves. I still think it's a decent game, but I don't like the color palette of it. I think the early 3D graphics look kind of terrible on it. The gameplay is good, I will admit that, but even then, I've played better. So, that's my opinion on Quake. There's people who absolutely love it. I'm not one of them, but it does deserve to be on the list. There we go, that was 7. So, number 6, Rocket Jockey. Now, this is an unusual game. It was released by Sega Soft, and it's one that I desperately want to show on the stream. However, the installer is 16-bit. I know there is a custom installer out there somewhere. I searched for it and could not find it. What Rocket Jockey is kind of what it says on the tin. You are a rocket jockey. You are a jockey that pilots around on this rocket-powered sled. It flies around. It's got grappling hooks on the left and right. And you do this in an arena-style game. There's different types. There's a race where you try to get to the checkpoint before everyone else or within a time limit. There's the ball mode, which is kind of a sports event where you have to try to collect the balls and get... Whoa, I just got hit by a train. Woohoo! Where you try to collect the balls and throw them into the goal, more points than your opponent. There is also the deathmatch mode, and this is one of the most fun, because your goal is to disable the other pilots, and there are various ways to do that, up to and including just dragging them around until they're unconscious and or dead. Another thing you can do is, because this is what the grappling hooks are for, you can hook to pillars to turn faster, you can hook the ball, you can hook like the fins off of your opponent's rockets, which makes it more difficult for them to turn. There's all these wonderful things you can do. You can even pull your opponents off of their sled. And you can steal sleds this way, which is one of the ways that you actually get new sleds as you play through the game. And as I was saying, there's more than one way to take out some of the opponent jockeys. I can talk, I really can. One of the ways is you can string them up to the pillars. Now the thing is, all the strings will eventually break. They just do. You can't drag someone around forever. So, especially in deathmatch mode. So they'll eventually break, and you can chain someone to a pillar, but he can eventually pull himself free unless you chain him to 2 pillars. At which point, he's disabled. He can't break free from both of them at the same time. Sometimes, if you're really lucky, you can chain someone to the same pillar twice. Because like I say, you have grappling hooks on either side of you. And if you attach something on one hook and attach something on the other hook, you can connect them together. And that's a lot of fun. Hooking people's sleds to pillars, hooking bombs to their sled, hooking people to the various balls, getting 2 balls together and throwing it down into the goal. And the fun part, it gets really hard. The last level in Arena, you don't have a sled. Your goal is to try to knock somebody off of their sled before they kill you. And then you still have to defeat them. So you still have to keep your sled and knock everyone else out. But you don't start with one. And there's a way to do it. You can, if they come sweeping low at you, you can actually jump up and knock them from the sled. It's really hard, but it's doable. So that is my definite number 6. A game that I wish I could show you guys. Rocket Jockey. If you get a chance to look it up, do so. This is another one where it's been a lot of fan titles have tried to unofficial sequel or get some homage games or mods for, but none of them have ever really panned out, unfortunately, which is a shame because this is a game that definitely deserves to come back. Alright, and number 5, as I take a look down at my list, would be The Elder Scrolls II Daggerfall. And I made a lot of fun of this game when it came out. It's got problems, it's got bugs like you wouldn't believe, but for how complex this game is, Daggerfall is larger than any of the other Bethesda Elder Scroll games. It might be larger than all of them combined, but it's also a not exactly procedurally generated world, but most of it's flat. And it had some bugs where there'd be some towns with the same name, which they did release a patch to fix that, which I think is included in the modern versions. The game actually did go freeware a while back, and you can pick it up on like GOG if you buy some of the side games, which I did for this show. I haven't gotten to any of them yet, but I will at some point do these games, the Elder Scroll games. If you buy some of those side games, you can actually get Arena and Daggerfall free. And I would recommend doing that. I will be playing Arena and Daggerfall, hopefully at some point on the stream. I've been wary to because they're roleplay games. They can take a very long time, especially Daggerfall. I've actually run out of time in the game in Daggerfall. You do have a time limit, and I ended up spending so much time being a knight in the various kingdoms. Yes, multiple kingdoms will let you become a knight for their kingdom, etc. You can go be in a guild in one kingdom and go to another kingdom and be in a completely opposite guild. It is just huge and complex, and with how much you can do. And oh, it's got all kinds of silly problems, but the ambition alone makes Daggerfall the number 5 for this list. Alrighty. Number 4, the game I just finished playing, Descent 2. Now, Descent 2's got problems, absolutely. Um, the boss fights are rather BS in my opinion. But overall, the game itself, the AI in it is so fantastic. The controls, at least fortunately with the Rebirth engine and the fact that I can use an Xbox controller like I'm doing now in this game and was able to dual stick around. They're quite nice, quite responsive. The enemies in it are brilliant. Um, not a big fan of bosses, like I said. I think those are pretty problematic and rather cheap. And the difficulty in that game, my god, I was on Rookie, and there's 3 difficulties above it. And if I were save scumming, I'd probably be able to pass the higher difficulties. I mean, I did in Descent 1 after all. But I wanted to try playing it the right way, and it's quite an experience. I'm glad I was able to finally finish it, and I'm looking forward to the other games in the series, or the spin-offs even, ones that aren't necessarily in the series, but, somewhat inspired by. But the AI in Descent 2 is just unparalleled, and I really wish we could see more things like that instead of the scripted stuff we see so much anymore. So there's my number 4, Descent 2. Number 3, another odd one on this list. It's one that I played on this show very, very early on. Strife. Now, I'm not talking about the new MOBA. I am talking about the roleplay game that was done in the Doom engine. The first-person shooter roleplay game, complete with towns, NPCs, quests, and the like. Not mentioned in the way of side quests, but... And it's a fairly small game for an RPG, since it focuses a lot more on the first-person element than, say, Daggerfall or Ultima Underworld. And because it uses the Doom engine, you can't deny that the shooting in that game is fantastic. Strife is kind of a precursor to games like Deus Ex or, well, any number of RPG first-person shooter hybrids. I went through the list of them, going all the way back to Shadowcaster, the ones that focused more on first-person shooting than the actual RPG side. And Strife was definitely a highlight of that list. It is available again today on Steam as Strife, the Veteran Edition. They actually managed to get the source code to the game and update it, fix some of the bugs, add some new areas. It's playable in high def with some modern effects on it. Absolutely recommend getting this game if you get a chance. It is all kinds of fun, and it's just great seeing what they did with it. What they were able to do with the freaking Doom engine. Now, of course, they had access to the source codes. This wasn't a mod or anything. But still, the fact that they could turn that game into a roleplay game the way they did is amazing. And that's why my number 4 is Strife. And I'll probably go through this list again as I go through the game here, because I've got a couple hours to kill, and this list is going pretty quickly, and I could maybe go into more depth, especially if anyone asks about them. Yeah, I know. That's why I'm getting those upgrade tokens, game. Thank you. So if you have, if anyone has any questions on these, I would love to expand on some of these games. Anyway, number 3, nice personal favorite of mine, and another one that I really did want to run and just was not able to. Number 3 is Obsidian. Now this is another one done by Sega Soft, and this is more of a Myst clone. In fact, this is probably the best Myst clone out there, at least at the time, especially it was. Blew everything out of the water. Had a decent story to it. Had, some good effects. I mean, it's done via old version of QuickTime. Again, this is one I wanted to run, and it just will not install anymore, especially since it uses like QuickTime 2. Yeah, it's an old game, unfortunately. But there's some really creative stuff. The point-and-click adventure is fairly good in it. There's a branch, but it's only at the very end you can determine what ending it is. Everything else you have to go through. There are some truly brilliant, creative, and inspired scenes in it. And one of the things I remember most about Obsidian is not the game itself, but the commercial that played for it. And it is "Your rules do not apply here." And this commercial apparently won lots of awards at the time for being so unique and creative, and it stuck out in my mind, and it was one of the reasons I hunted this game down, and I was never disappointed in it. It has a person. It's got this song playing in the background. I don't really know the song, but because it's been a while since I've seen the commercial. You can find it on YouTube. It's available. And he carefully takes an egg out of the counter or out of the refrigerator, puts it on the counter, starts chopping something next to it. Egg kind of bounces and rolls around a bit. He looks kind of cautious at it, but keeps chopping, keeps chopping. Eventually the egg turns and just rolls right off the counter. He tries to grab it. It hits the floor and it bounces. He shatters like ceramic. And it is just beautiful scenery. Your rules do not apply here, and that sets the tone for the game. Whatever you're expecting to come out of it, don't, because this game is going to surprise you. And there are times when it really does. There are times when it is fairly predictable. But the puzzles in it are good, the scenery is great, the imagination and creativity in it is just remarkable. If you can find a copy or find a way to play it, I absolutely recommend Obsidian, my number 3 of 1996. Now we're getting up to the, more popular ones. There's going to be some people out there who absolutely know what my top games are. And there really isn't much of a surprise if you know me that well, and I've talked about some of these before. And there are some classics that everyone has to mention, although we're down to 2 games on the list, and I'm sure some of you have noticed that there are some classics I've not touched on. Again, I haven't played all of the games, so there's going to be some that I missed. And there are some games that I just didn't like as well as other people did. But getting on to number 2 for 1996 is none other than one of the reasons I actually kind of got the idea for this list. Diablo. Came out exactly 20 years ago today. Okay, I am missing something. What the heck is going on? I'm apparently missing one of my checkpoints. I am missing a checkpoint. Huh. Well, that's not good. Anyway, Diablo, yes, it's got its 20th anniversary today. Happy birthday, Diablo! Blizzard is doing a cross-game promotion about it. Lots of various stuff, so good times. Yeah, I'm definitely going the wrong way. I see what's going on now. Good stuff, good times. It created a genre, basically. I'm not sure if it was the first hack and slash like that with the mouse and all, but brain shut off again. My apologies. But what it did really well, and it set up for sequel. I mean, most people absolutely love Diablo 2, even those that aren't as big a fan of Diablo 3. Now, I like Diablo 3 as well, but I can definitely see why people don't like it. And we have a whole lot more of these type of games now. There was, Titan's Quest, Marvel Heroes. What's that new one out right now? Exile, Path to Exile. So there's a lot of these games, but Diablo's the granddaddy of them all, and it was all sorts of fun. It was unique, kind of a new take on roguelikes. So, I mean, even then, you can always look back and see where the most unique of games, you can still look back and see what led up to it. I said, it's a roguelike. So there's going to be that aspect of it. Yeah, I was going the wrong damn way on this. Holy crap. But Diablo is also one of the first games that I stayed up way too late playing when I got it, and had to go to work the next day. And, I look over one more level, one more level. It's 2 in the morning. I got work in 4 hours, and yeah. And it was worth every minute of it. Oh, it was so good. Alright, now before I get to my number 1, I am going to list a few honorable mentions, and I'm going to point out some games that I have not played, which is why they're not on the list. And I will give an honorable mention to Chex Quest. Yeah, the Adver game. Again, basically just a Doom total conversion, new maps, new graphics, but for the most part, it's just Doom. But showing that Doom, yeah, there's my problem. I wasn't turning the right direction here. But showing that Doom didn't have to be all blood, gore, and violence. You could absolutely make a kid-friendly version of it just by changing the graphics. You didn't have to change any of the gameplay at all to make it a wholly wholesome experience. And Chex Quest, the maps are well done. The graphics are quite nice for it. For a free Adver game, and it's pretty small, but for a free Adver game, this thing sets the bar. If you can find other Adver games that even come close to this, then more power to you. But Chex Quest, definitely an honorable mention. Another honorable mention is going to be Civilization 2. It's on my honorable mentions list because I have barely played it. I didn't pick up the Civ series until 4 was out. I do have Civilization 1, 2, 3, and 4, but 2 is the one. It's a good game. I know people who absolutely adore that one. I know people who think it's the best in the series. I know people who think almost all of them are the best in the series. But I just can't give that one a fair shake because I played the others more, and I don't really remember 2. They kind of blend together in my mind. So, sorry, Civ fans. I can't give that one an accurate call. Another honorable mention. Warcraft 2. I don't like this game. Oh, yeah. I know how many people absolutely love it, and I know that it was kind of a absolute trendsetter for the RTS genre. I don't like Warcraft 2. Other than graphics and spells, both races are the exact same. And unfortunately, those spells very heavily, in my opinion, tilted the balance toward the orc side. Bloodlusted ogre mages are just really hard for the Alliance to deal with. So I don't like the balance in it. I really don't like mirror match stuff like that. And I think that a bit more diversity in the factions was required, and in later games is absolutely there. But it wasn't in Warcraft 2. So that's why it's just not on my list. Even as far as RTSs go, I don't like Warcraft 2, guys. Sorry. I do like others. I'm not the best RTS fan, but I think other games were done better than Warcraft 2. At least in far as how the armies and all were set up. As far as the game itself, yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff there. Good story mission, good single-player stuff. You'll never find me doing multiplayer in those, though. Some other honorable mentions. These are games that I have not played, which is the main reason why they're not on the list. I have not gotten around to Tomb Raider. I have not played Master of Orion 2. It's a 4X. I'm not big on 4X. Tomb Raider, I just missed when it was out, and I do have it now. I just haven't gotten around to it. It's one of the reasons I do this show. I've got this backlog that goes back 20, 25 plus years, and that's one of them. Those are the 2 big ones that I just haven't played, at least that I can think of off the top of my head. So we're down to the number 1. There's been a lot of games on this list, some strange ones. This one is probably not one that most people are going to think of as their best game of the year, but for me, it absolutely was. I enjoyed it then. I enjoy it to this day. This game is so much. It was so much fun for me that I love the engine it's based on and have played so many games based solely on the engine because of this game. Duke Nukem 3D. Yeah, I say it's better than Quake, it's better than Diablo. This is the single game of 1996 that I had the most fun with. I can't even tell you. I have some of my most memorable multiplayer games back on Dwango. I had one game where on the secret level of episode 1, the final score was 25 to 0 to 0 to -1. I dominated the game so badly, the only other person that got a kill was on himself. The tools that game has, the stuff like night vision goggles, Holoduke, the med kits, the fact that it has that inventory. The weapons in it are pretty generic FPS fare, but they're handled well. The game is the game itself is funny. The one-liners are great. The graphics are such an improvement over even Quake, because you can see what things are, and it's colorful. Quake has all the colors of the sewer, whereas in Duke Nukem 3D, everything pops. You got vibrant blues, reds, greens all over the place. The secret messages, which don't really work that well on the Megatron edition. I don't know how they work in the anniversary one, but I know the Megatron edition is not perfect, because one of the things, you could write letters on the wall, and if you use night vision goggles, those letters would pop up. But for some reason, in the Megatron edition, or the Megaton edition, they don't. So there's some secret messages that if you've only played the new version, you've never seen, because they don't show up for you. And that's a disappointment to me. I wish they would fix that. I don't have the Anniversary Edition, as I said, largely because, well, I have the Megaton Edition. I've got several copies of Duke Nukem 3D. I own at least 4 versions of it. I'm not kidding on this. I bought the original when it came out. I got the Plutonium pack. They gave it for free with PC Gamer back in 2000, I think, the 2000 holiday disc. I have another copy of the Plutonium edition, or the Atomic edition, because I was trying to find a copy of Shadow Warrior, and the only copy I found was the one that had both games, and it was only $20, so I said to hell with it. And I bought it and had an extra copy of the game. I have it on Steam. I have it all over the freaking place. I have, the original and the Megatron edition on Steam. Unfortunately, those versions are no longer available because of the whole Duke Nukem 3 or Duke Nukem Forever fiasco, and the rights went to Gearbox, not 3D Realms. 3D Realms didn't read their contract. They thought they were just selling Duke Nukem Forever, but they sold the entire IP. And, well, it's a shame. It means the stuff's not available in that version anymore. And that's a real shame for the Megaton Edition, because the Megaton Edition included 3 expansion packs, which are of varying quality, one of which is fantastic. And I'll probably cover that on the show at some day. But the new edition, the Anniversary Edition, does not include the expansion packs, but does include a new 5th episode, which I can't tell you if it's any good or not, because I've not played it. But there you go. That's my list. One more time. Number 10, Realms of the Haunting. Number 9, The Neverhood. Number 8, Quake. Number 7, Rocket Jockey. Number 6, The Elder Scrolls II, Daggerfall. Number 5, Descent 2. Number 4, Strife. Number 3, Obsidian. Number 2, Diablo. And number 1, my favorite PC game of 1996, Duke Nukem 3D. Well, I hope you guys have enjoyed that list. That was about half an hour for that. For the next hour and a half, I'm probably going to be talking about Carmageddon, or if I go that long. But let's at least get started, shifting gears, talking about something more modern, the game that I've actually been playing while talking about this list here. Carmageddon Max Damage. Now, this is one that came out this year. It has a history to it. It originally started as Carmageddon Reincarnation. There was a Kickstarter for this game to kind of bring the Carmageddon series back, and I saw the Kickstarter back in the day, and this is the first Kickstarter that I really, really wanted to back, but was hesitant to, so I just didn't. And I kind of was kicking myself for a long time on that, because it's Carmageddon. I have loved Carmageddon since I played the demo of the first one back in '97. It's just a fun little game, driving for the chemically imbalanced, where you get all kinds of Mad Max, or more accurately, Death Race 2000 inspired vehicles, like the Blitzkrieg, which I'm driving in right now, and you race in the most violent, brutal way possible. This is classic Carmageddon that I've been kind of playing here on this, where there's one of three ways you can beat the map. You can either finish the race, as I've been doing, because I haven't done that on these yet. You can cause all of your opponents to wreck. If you're the last one standing, you win. Or you can kill every single pedestrian on the map, either by running them over, like that, or hitting them with various special abilities. Now, Reincarnation, I bought it on Kickstarter, on Steam, or not Kickstarter, but early access when it was on Steam there, and I am so glad I did. The early versions were really rough, and I mean, it did not perform very well, very smoothly at all. As you can see, this version runs quite nicely. It's very smooth, and even on the recording, it looks like it's going quite smoothly, as opposed to some of my more recent games. I am on OBS. I've stopped using XSplit for now because that was just taking up too much of my CPU resources, and if I was trying to do a new game, well, it looked like crap. It was very choppy, as everyone remembers my Shadow Warrior 2 videos. They're pretty bad. But this game, at least with OBS, doesn't have that problem. At least it doesn't look like it does. The original Carmageddon, and I might cover it someday, but I've played it recently, because one of the things about getting the early access of this, or being one of the backers, you got all three of the other Carmageddon games included in the deal. Even so, I bought this before the other games were even out on Steam, and oh, those were some beautiful bonuses for me, even though I have them all on disc, because of course I do. You guys should know my collection by now. I've got hundreds of games on disc still. And this series is one of my favorites. It is, again, available on Steam now. Carmageddon Reincarnation is not available anymore. They've obsoleted it with this version, Max Damage. And I had problems with Reincarnation. The controls weren't... It felt a little off, and this game sometimes does too. Your cars are a little more stiff sometimes, slippery other times. The controls seem to have just that little bit of delay because of how much weight your cars have. And, you know, that is the case. The original Carmageddon controls were like that as well. But that game, Reincarnation, had some problems with frame rate. It had some problems with determining who wrecked who in a lot of cases. So for the missions where you're trying to, well, that your goal is to wreck your opponents, and every now and then you'll run into them, they'll wreck, and it'll count as a suicide? Or you'll hit the car and then drive that car into someone else, and that other person got the credit. Or, you sandwich a car between two people and the other person will get the credit. Or it'll even be counted as a suicide and neither of you will get the credit. I've seen that happen too. That was really frustrating, and it was something they claimed to have fixed in Reincarnation, and they just didn't. It was not done. It was not ready. Oh, missed the jump. So Reincarnation had problems like that. Max damage fixes that. Another thing in Reincarnation is cars were a little bit too tough on your opponent's side. It was really difficult to wreck some of them, no matter what car you had. You could not wreck some. They were very difficult. This game also fixes that. You'll notice every now and then I hit one of the opponent cars and you see some stars over their head. You've stunned them. That was something they added in this version, and oh, it is fantastic. Being stunned means they're, number one, they don't try driving off, and number two, your next hit seems to do a bit more damage to them than normal. So if you can stun them and then crush them against the wall, that's going to be pretty much GG for them. Like right there, I've stunned Madame Scarlet now. If I can crush you, and it's over. See, fantastic stuff. And of course, this game does have power-ups and such. You've got things like, well, I don't have any collected right now because I haven't been collecting any. There's stuff like the, Kangaroo on Command, where your car will just bounce. There's things like Solid Granite Car, which makes your car very heavy and very hard to destroy, and it's one of the better power-ups in the game. There's... Well, one of the things you can buy power-ups, Solid Granite Car is the one on my left down there, if you can see the little icon in the bottom left. The one on the right is called Splitter Ray, and that just splits a car, which sometimes can kill it. Sometimes, like Hammerhead there, was split, but he was still going. There's various special abilities like that, which make the game a lot of fun as well. Think Mario Karts, but not quite so much focused on the racing. Lots of weapons, lots of death. And max damage, like I said, it increased the... I actually haven't upgraded the plow? Wow. Yeah, I only upgrade them to 3 most of the time because, number one, you're maxed out. I can't upgrade everything to 5, or upgrade them to 4. And number two, the ones at 5 have weirdness to it, especially 5 power. Makes your brakes almost not work anymore. But they're kind of like cheater level stuff. And there is some cheater level stuff in this game. Absolutely. I'll show you some of the stuff you can unlock later on. And these are ones that you have to unlock. They don't just give them to you. That's one of the reasons I'm actually doing the all the races right now. Is in order to unlock everything, I have to do all of the classic Carmageddons as both the race, the destroy everything as both. That's all 3. Destroy everybody, which is how I usually do it. Race, or kill all the pedestrians. And that last one, kill all the pedestrians, is nigh impossible. There is, on every map, one item, one power-up that gives you the show pedestrians on the map. And you need that, basically, because otherwise you got to hunt down 690 pedestrians on your own. And even then, there's a car that is designed for it. There's a weapon in this game called the Electro Bastard Pedestrian Ray, or Electro Pedestrian Bastard Ray. It basically zaps lightning from your car. There's also the power-up version is the Ped Annihilator. It just zaps all pedestrians around you. The Bastard Ray version is just on a timer. It automatically zaps them around you. Well, there is one car back from the original Carmageddon called Electric Blue by Stunistella that has it built in. It is a permanent feature of that car. So anytime you drive near a pedestrian, it zaps them. And it is the It is almost the only way. It's not the only way. You can do it without, and there are people who've done it, but it is the best and easiest way to destroy every pedestrian on the map, and it is very fun. You rack up score nicely. I'll run it next map and show you guys what it's like. And this one's going to take me a little bit longer because I'm collecting all of these power-up icons, because I don't have all my cars powered up yet. Not all of them, anyway. One thing, and you're not going to see this here because I've already beaten this game, and I've unlocked all the cars you can unlock this way. You can steal cars from other players. So all the cars that you see out here are in my garage now. Now, the way you normally get them is when they're steal worthy, and you'll get a notification before the race starts of which cars are steal worthy, if any. If you wreck them during the combat, during the race, and this can happen during arenas and all too, if you wreck the car, it'll get added to your garage. And let's be honest, that is fantastic, because that lets you play as all the various cars, including, like, right now, I'm playing as the Plow, which is basically the heaviest normal car in the game. Normally, I think, actually, since the Rig-O Mortis by Mother Trucker was added in max damage, that might be a heavier, bigger vehicle than this. But normally, this is one of the big boys. This is what you use when you just want to wreck face. This thing is Tonka tough. One of the reasons why it's yellow. So you get the cars that way. There are a couple cars, police cars, that you can only get either by beating the game. That gets you the CUNT. I'm not going to say it, but yeah, that's what it means. I forget what it's the acronym for, but yeah. Well, I'll go ahead and say it. Yeah, you get the little police car that you see in the early levels. It's called a cunt, and you can get that once you've beaten the game. The suppressor, the APC, which is the medium tier cop car, you only get when you 100% the game, I believe, which I have not done yet. That's what I'm driving for right now. That's the defeat everything with race and kill all peds, as well as all the other ways to kill things on the map, or defeat the maps. That'll get you the APC. Now, the APC unlocks just by beating the game in Reincarnation, but that version's not available anymore, so it doesn't matter. Now, does it? Ha ha ha. Do I recommend Carmageddon max damage? Oh, absolutely. This is exactly what I wanted in a new Carmageddon. The Reincarnation had problems. They fixed it with max damage, re-released it, and yes, this is what I was craving, and it feels so good. It plays so nicely. This is the old game once again. And I'll go ahead and talk about some of the old game, too. Oh, wow! Someone hit me with the opponent freeze ray. You see, in this one, in the previous games, the opponents never really used the power-ups. In this one, they do. And it's great. Get off me. Madam Scarlet, you're not going to beat the Plow that way. So, get off it. And that's one thing, the AI in this game, and this dates back to the original games as well, there's going to be a couple AI that are just trying to wreck you, and the cops are usually after you, not the opponents, and I have problems with that. I think the cops should go after everybody, but, then again, if they wrecked the opponents, you wouldn't get the points, etc., etc. But it would be nice if they'd harass other players once in a while, because they can get really annoying. But there's always a couple AI that's trying to wreck you, and they can be annoying too, because they'll push you around and such. And then there's a couple that are just off driving. Some of them are actually trying to race. They can't win the race, so you don't have to worry about that happening. So if you ever finish the finish line, doesn't matter how long they've been at it, as long as you finish the finish line, you win. So that's not a problem, except in the other modes. I'm just talking about Classic Carmageddon right now. I'll show some of the other modes and such in this when I get to them. Now I'm stuck, and you can see you can reset your car, you can repair damage, even if you get wrecked, you can repair, so yeah, you kind of cheat a bit in this game. Alright, so yeah, that's basic Carmageddon stuff. See, I've got the Kangaroo on command now, and this one has upgrade tokens. That's a different style than a lot of games used. Kind of. I don't really recall what the first game did. I think you just had to buy the power-ups, or you just automatically got stronger as you got in the levels. I don't remember exactly. The first game has some problems in how you advance. You advance based on your score. So it's not just beating a level, but you, depending on how many points you got during the level, as you see right now, I've got 26,000 points right now. That's how you advanced in rank in the first game. And unfortunately, the way that's handled, not only will you sometimes, not only will you be repeating some levels, you're going to have to. And you're going to have to figure out which level gives you the most points, or figure out a good path to get the most points in the various levels. And kind of grind up to get them all. And again, there are cars in that game that are steal-worthy, but that game has some that aren't. However, once you've beaten all of the levels in that game, all of the cars unlocked. Some of them will be marked cheat, but don't worry about that. And you'll be able to see what all of the cars drive like. And I like that. I like the fact that all of the cars do eventually become available to you. I'll show you some of the really big stuff in this. I'll show you some of the things they added for this version of the game, some of the vehicles. Some of the maps are new, like that flying saucer one that I first started on. That was a new map, and I love it. The desert maps in this. There's an arena that they added that, again, a desert theme, and I think it's one of the better arenas they've added to this game. Oops, you know what? I don't have to go all the way around. That's another thing, too. You don't have to go all the way around. Especially the original version, was one of the early open world driving games. For the checkpoints, however you get from point A to point B, it does not matter as long as you hit the checkpoints in order. So you can take shortcuts, you can take the long way around, you can explore, you can find hidden items all over the place. It's encouraged, in fact. So, yeah. That's a fun aspect, and that was one of the reasons that really attracted me to the game. Just how free you are on it. All the various cars you can do, how to play, it's all up to you. And, oh yeah, it's bloody, it's violent, and it's all kinds of fun. So that first game had the problem with the progression and how it's done, but the sequel, there was an expansion pack, and it is a standalone expansion, so you don't actually need the original for it, but it is an expansion, is the Splat Pack, which also is included on the ones on Steam. In fact, if you buy Carmageddon 1 on Steam, you basically get the Splat Pack with it, I think. I think it's a standalone anyway, I'm pretty sure. And of course, these games did use 3DFX back in the day, because that was the hot video card at the time. And if you've had a 3DFX, you know it was the hot video card at the time. We may not think it that impressive today, but it was pretty much, yes, there was the S3 Verge, but that didn't work that well. Whereas the 3DFX cards, the Voodoo cards, oh, they worked beautifully. They gave you higher res 3D, they looked better. Nothing compared to the stuff today, but still, for the time, they were great. Oops, I ain't gonna make that one. Ooh, we're not gonna make that one either. Oh, hey, I'm gonna go pick that power up, or that upgrade token up. And I've got 3DFX wrappers today. I prefer N-Glide personally, but it doesn't have the highest compatibility. There's DG Voodoo, which usually is watermarked, but you can turn the watermark off, so you can use it. There's also one that's just called Glide Wrapper, and it's got pretty good compatibility. Glide was the 3DFX API. So they work. Those you can still play 3DFX games today. That's actually how I played my Excalibur 2555, because it was a 3DFX game. It came with my Voodoo 2 card. So, you know, I'm talking about all that stuff because you can get Glide Wrappers and you can play those original games, Carmageddon and the Splat Pack, in high resolution now using a Glide Wrapper. So when I do play it, I'll be running it at 1080p. And I hope you guys will enjoy it. I will eventually get to it, just not right away. I've got a ton of games to get to, so I am not lacking in content, fortunately. Oop, got a message I was dropping some frames. I'm hoping that this has been a fairly solid stream today, and I'm hoping that people are entertained by what I have to say. Carmageddon 1, you know, it set the standard. Carmageddon 2, Splat Pack is basically more of the same. Had different cars, different maps, but it was the same game basically as the original. Which, if you like the original, great, you're gonna love it. Carmageddon 2 was a bit different. It still had all the same. For the regular missions, you had the race, wreck, or kill. But there were actual missions in that game as well. In fact, if memory serves, you would have 3 regular maps and then a special mission map, and then you'd move on to the next tier. And in that one, it included, you know, it ramped up the graphics, there were some new cars. There were some things that went extreme. Like, I'm using Don Dumpster here in the Plow. His vehicle in Carmageddon 2 is this 80-ton dump truck. And, oh yes, you could steal it. And one of the things in that game, if a vehicle was steal-worthy, you had to, number 1, wreck it, and then number 2, buy it. And that's what the credits were for in that one. And again, you could buy your upgrades, or you could collect upgrade tokens scattered through the map. And those ones were specific upgrades. There'd be like an upgrade all, or a small upgrade to the engine, or a maximum upgrade, or the Holy Grail was the max upgrade all. If you hit it, you maxed your car out for what was available to it. And that game really promoted exploration that way, because even if you had the upgrades, you just got money for it instead. The points were the cash that were used to buy cars. So there's certain places where if you found a really good circuit, you could net hundreds of thousands of cash every time you completed a race, which made it fairly easy to buy all the cars. And that one, you know, it added some more unique cars. The Siamese twin that you probably may have seen running around in this game actually came from the second one, if memory serves. But it was, again, basically the same concept. Now, these games, like I say, were based off of the Death Race 2000, which, if you haven't seen it, it's pretty good. Nice little social commentary on that. Just a nice, violent video game, or violent movie about a cynical take on society where media was designed around Schadenfreude, where people got their kicks watching other people hurt and killed. Hardly a new concept, and in fact this movie came out in the 70s, I believe. But it was a pretty good take on it, and it's quite amusing. And it's one of Sylvester Stallone, geez, I can't even talk today. It's one of his movies, and yeah, it's I think Roger Corman made it, which, if you know anything about Roger Corman movies, that'll tell you everything right there. But yeah, it's a fun movie. And I think they recently made a spiritual successor to it, / sequel. I don't know what that one's called. I have not seen it. Of course, there's some Asylum versions called Death Racers. Those are crap. Absolute crap. No, the Asylum version was something else. No, what is it? There were some other kind of spiritual successor movies made, which actually take a more video game-like approach, up to and including running over various panels to get power-ups. And there's the Asylum version of that, where they spend most of their time out of the car. And even when they're in the car, they're only going like walking speed. It's pretty crap. But yeah, there's those are available. They're kind of messed up, but hey, it's fun if you like that kind of thing. Now I'm going to show you the car with the electric, but I'm going to show off a couple other cars in the garage before I do that. This is Electric Blue. That's the one I'm going to go ahead and get in right now. That's the one that has the Ped Zapper, and we'll see that on the next map, although I'm just going to finish the race again. There's that little unit. This is the Super Suppressor. This is one of the cheater cars. And this was added to this game because this game did something that they kind of tried to do in the first game and couldn't work out. And it's the first time they've pulled it off. That's a trailer attached to it. Rigor Mortis here. This truck also comes with a trailer attached to it. And that was something unique added to this game, and I'm glad they did it. I'm hoping there was one old vehicle that was supposed to be like that back in the day, that they weren't able to do it. This was the cheater vehicle in the previous, in Reincarnation. And it's also based on the cheater vehicle in the first Carmageddon game, the Super Suppressor. And these things, I'll show you what they're like. They just wreck everything around them. They're pretty awesome. And they're called cheater. I call them cheater vehicles, but you have to, in this game especially, you have to have wrecked it in order to unlock it. And one of them, the first time I wrecked the Suppressor in this was completely by accident. I had pinball mode on, it got pushed off of something, and bounce, 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 bounce. You wrecked them! Stolen! I was like, whoa! I didn't even see that car! I didn't. It just wrecked itself bouncing around with pinball mode. Yee! And I jumped in it, and oh, it was glorious. I ended up basically doing the same thing to it in this game. I grabbed pinball mode and shoved it off a cliff. And that was pretty much all she wrote for that car. The Super Suppressor in this game, the one that has the trailer, oh my. I will show you where that one is. And it is a pain to destroy. But I did it. I absolutely did it. You see, I'm zapping all the pedestrians near me. This is basically how you get the Kill All Pedestrian awards. And again, you want the power-up that every map has that shows you where all of the pedestrians are, because otherwise you've got to try to hunt down 670 pedestrians, and if you miss one, well, good luck finding it. It's there somewhere. You got ones like those bikers there that keep moving around the map. That's not very nice. So they're hard to find. And of course, this car gives you huge score because look at how many of them I'm killing. I'm getting a bunch of bonus every time, lots of time. That is one thing, you'll run out of time in these games. Kinda. You get so much time by just playing that for the most part, running out of time is a thing that's basically not going to happen. It can, but it's doubtful. Except in Carmageddon 3, and we'll get to that one. In Carmageddon 1, the display was limited to 20 minutes, or if you went to the map, the display was limited to 99 minutes and 59 seconds, but you could get much more time than that. I don't know what the actual hard cap was. Carmageddon 2, same thing. Carmageddon 3 was not developed by Stainless, so it had a whole new developer set of problems. So Stainless, you know, they were like, yeah, we like these games, but we'd like to do something different. Again, I'm going off of kind of memory here, of why they didn't do it. If it's wrong, I apologize. I think this is correct though. You know, they kind of wanted to do a different game, so the publisher went, all right, well, we'll give it to someone else. Hey, cool, I just got a skin and rims for somebody by having driven long enough. That's saying this game's got achievements and stuff like that, so for the people who like to do that, there's plenty of stuff to collect. And every map has some collectible hidden items as well, lots of good stuff. Yeah, so they wanted to do something different. The developer went, okay, and let someone else make a sequel, which Stainless kind of disavowed. However, it was one of the free ones that got included if you bought it early, and it is on Steam. So if you want to pick it up, it's there. I do like 3. My favorite was 2. This is better. This is my new favorite. This is just fantastic. This is what this game should always have been, and I love it. Um, Carmageddon 3 had missions like 2 did, except in that one it was you'd have a normal race, a mission, a normal race, a mission, a normal race, a mission, next set of stages. And they were always, next stage. And they were always set like on the same area too. So I it's still fun. It's got a different control scheme than the other two did because it was built by different people. The graphics are different. The biggest problem that 3 had, 1 and 2 wanted you to explore. That's why, as you see, I've got like 46 minutes to just run around this map if I wanted to. I could look around, I could look for tokens, I could try to find the hidden item, I could try to kill all the pedestrians, I could just drive around looking if I wanted to. In Carmageddon 3, the timer capped at like 5 minutes. And that wasn't a, display cap like it was in Carmageddon 1 and 2. Once you hit 5 minutes, anything else you did that would normally improve the timer was lost. You had a max, a hard cap of 5 minutes, which meant you basically had to keep doing things. Each person you found, or I have no idea what the trailer is over there for. Each person you found gave you a few seconds. If you could wreck one of your opponents, you'd get a minute or two. But you had to it was a way to keep you absolutely in the game, in the combat, and it took some freedom away. You could not explore as much. Oh, the missions. This is one thing. Carmageddon 3 today, both the CD version and the version on Steam, will crash on most modern systems unless you set a few settings manually in the config files. And there's places that show you what settings you have to configure. You have to do it in the files because the actual menu won't show them. The menu goes down. The options are down off the bottom of the screen in the menu, and you can't scroll it down. Badly designed, I'm sorry to say. So you can't even do it that way. The game's got flaws. If you don't set the settings, every time you go onto a actual mission, the cutscene parts just crash the game out. But you can get around that. You can play the game today. You can finish the game today. I've done it. And it's still fun. It's still Carmageddon. One thing is, though, that version comes with the Nosebleed pack, which adds 4 cars to it that are available right away, but they're not very well balanced. I hate to say it that way, they're not. And they can be very frustrating, especially if you're in an early car and they get the freaking flying one, and that thing's hard to defeat. And you might run out of time trying to do the checkpoints. Frustrating as hell. I've had that happen so many times. One thing is, Carmageddon 3, and this game as well, although I've not played with it, is very mod friendly. If you are going to play Carmageddon 3 today, I do like the original version unmodified, and I'll play it, but there's no reason not to go ahead and add mod cars. There's cheater stuff available that way. I prefer to have ones that are fairly balanced, because that's just the way I play. I don't need cheater stuff. Besides, the game's got cheater stuff to begin with, like the car I'm driving right now. But yeah, it's very mod friendly. There's a lot of mods for Carmageddon. Well, Carmageddon 3 is actually called Carmageddon TDR 2000, which, yes, that's a reference to the Death Race 2000. But they couldn't actually call it that because, movie, IP, they didn't have that. But still, it's their homage, and it's good that they did that. there are interesting cars in it. There's some interesting missions in it. The graphics are quite different than the other ones. Things have been it's dirtier. Like even this game, things kind of look clean out here. Carmageddon 3 took a much more dystopian approach. Not that there's anything wrong with that. It fits the setting quite nicely, and Carmageddon 3 has some features that I really like to it. I love the clean mega city at the end where you're racing. That's quite nice. Because, all the stuff out in the population, the slum areas, well, these people who live out here can be killed in a moment's notice during one of the races. But in the mega city, you're supposed to be safe. That's where all the good cops are and such. And you break in, and you have fun, and you have races in that city, and it's pretty good. Pretty good. But just in the end, Carmageddon 3, it's still Carmageddon. You'll still get your fix on it. But I think 2 was my favorite of the old ones. Nowadays, well, we have this, and I've talked about Reincarnation versus this. Hot Rod is like the worst. Hot Rod is turbo that goes so fast you can't control the car. That's why I was spinning around like that. I just had no control, thanks to Hot Rod. But yeah, this game is all manner of just stupid, violent, shut off your brain fun, which I am thoroughly enjoying right now. I'll show off a couple of the other feature, the supercars. I'll show some of the basic cars. I'll show what used to be the Kickstarter for Reincarnation, the Kickstarter car, although now it's available to everyone in max damage. 2 of them are. And I like the way it looks. And, you do have skins in this of varying colors. There's one skin for every car that you can unlock. There's an extra rim for every car you can unlock. I cannot for the life of me figure out why there's only the one for each of them. But, whatever. I don't necessarily think that those unlockable skins are the better looking ones either. It just happens to be that that's the one you can unlock. And, some of my cars, I have it. Some of them I don't. You unlock them basically just by playing long enough for the most part. Had enough driving, kill enough pedestrians, wreck enough people, whatever. Ooh, getting a bit tired. My throat's starting to get sore because I have been talking non-stop for the past hour plus. Wow. I will go over my top 10 again at the end of the recording, just so everyone knows. Beep! Flipping around here, yay! And I'll kind of take a shortcut this time. Don't need to go all the way around. Explode! Now, one thing about the Carmageddon games, especially the early ones, if you're in Europe and you've played the original Carmageddon, the blood was sometimes, depends on where you were, some of the things had green blood because all of the enemies were zombies. Or not the enemies, the pedestrians were all zombies. That apparently made it okay. Green blood instead of red. That made everything okay. There are, of course, patches to change the blood back to red. There are. They're out there. Go ahead and look for them. There were also, I think it was Germany that even the green blood wasn't good enough, so it's black instead. Everyone's a robot. And they leak oil instead of blood. Because even zombies was too much. Whatever. At least the games were able to be released that way. And I have no idea what the new one does, if this one does anything like that at all. Notice, I got 400 of the enemies there, or the pedestrians. It's not bad. Well, I didn't get 400 of them, but I only killed 373, but 400 died. Now let's load up one of these supercars. I'm going to get the suppressor, and I'm going to show you how to get the the super suppressor. It's done here in Erasing, Arizona. And you can use other cars to do it, but I used the suppressor because I had earned that one already. You'll notice that I have full power and full attack and not so much in armor. Again, though, that is the 12 points. I cannot spend more points than that. Well, I can, but it'll do me no good. And I could balance it out 3-3-3, but I went or 4-4-4, but I went 2-5-5 instead. Now, there are a couple ways to do this one. And you see Suicidal Peds, it gives you some tips. That there is the Blitzkrieger's special skin. And I do love the Blitzkrieger. It was added in this game. It was not in Reincarnation, and I love the tank car. It's great. It's heavy. It does good damage. It has good armor, and the tracks on it make it so it can actually kind of go over a few different areas that the other cars have trouble with. Good stuff. Good times. See, he's got some aliens walking around here. Now, those have actually been in the game for a while, too. In this continuity, there are aliens. There, at the very least, the splat pack for Carmageddon 1 included Roswell. It also included the Mayan area, which is in this as well. And the Mayans had a UFO near them. And like I said, they added the Mayan stuff to this game as well. I'm glad they did. This game is one of those reboots, tributes, done by the same company that absolutely got it right. And I'm glad this version did. Reincarnation, I said, had problems. This does not. This is exactly what I wanted in Carmageddon. And if anyone from Stainless is listening, thank you, thank you, thank you. I want the sequel. I will buy it in a heartbeat. I want more. I want more content like this. I want more vehicles. I'd love to see more stuff from the past brought back. I'd love to see some new ones added. I am all for it. Yeah, oh yeah, this thing has lights and sirens. I love it. Which, unfortunately, if you're on a controller, the light and siren button is the same button as open all the doors. The horn button is the same button as open all doors, and that's annoying. I don't like that. I don't like sharing the button like that. And actually, yeah, the doors actually have a reason to exist that you can open. You can, on some cars, you can drive by a pedestrian, pop open the door, and hit them like that. And that was something, again, from the earlier games you could do that. A lot of fun. Now, you see, I'm not taking any damage, basically, and I'm just playing Billy Cat and Mouse with this guy. You see, just barely hitting his side. Look at how much damage it did. This car, this is the the suppressor. This is the police vehicle for the high-end cars. This is the car that is meant to control things like the plow that just darted by me. And, of course, you can steal it and use it for your own. And there's the plow. That's normally the hardest car in at least Reincarnation. We have the rigor mortis in this one. And I just took it down without breaking a sweat. Ditto. I don't even remember what that car's called right now. That was the first one I was using. The Lumberjacker. There we go. That was the first one I was using today. And there's actually, I think Catty Fat Cat back there was the one I was using. Otis P-Jive Funk. Car's been around forever. That's been since the first game. He's been in all of them, and he's great. Yeah, they have various characters to go along with the cars. They're all tributes, stuff like that. Splat Pack, one of the cars is a tribute to Interstate 76. It's great. Interstate 76, again, of course, being one of my favorite games, which I really, 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 really wanted to show you. But even though it's available on GOG, it just doesn't want to run right on modern systems. And I wish that weren't the case, but it is. Ah, there we go. There's one of the secret things I was talking about. See that? That is a secret bush. Lady parts. Because that's a funky donkey I just found. And you can find things like the rotten muffin or various names for it. Okay, so the super suppressor was back there. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and buy the solid granite car. And boom! That was it. That was actually a lot easier than normal. Because I was not able to do that last time. But you saw how hard I hit that car. I take the suppressor here. I use the solid granite boost. That costs 100,000 credits up there. You notice there's credits. Notice that it's kicking back up now. Hitting that car earns a ton of credits and time. That is one thing about this particular car. It can hit things so hard that you'll get like half an hour of time added just for how hard you hit something. But yeah, you go solid granite car, full speed toward the sub suppressor, and if you can pin it against the back wall, like I just did, the super suppressor will go down. But that pretty much will only happen if you're driving this vehicle. But that's the quick way to do it. So there, you guys all got to see a secret. That's how you unlock a badass vehicle. And I'll bring that vehicle out. I will show you what it's like. And I'll do the rigor mortis as well. I'm just having fun playing right now. After all, Carmageddon max damage. I recommend this game. I absolutely recommend this game. If this looks fun to you, it is. Grab it. It actually has one of the modes that it has right now, which I have not played with. You can only choose it when you start up. They actually had some fun with the U.S. presidential election. You can choose Hillary-larious mode, where all the pedestrians are replaced with Hillary Clinton. You can, I forget what it's called, but there's a mode that will replace all of the pedestrians with Donald Trump. And there's the mass debate mode, which will replace the pedestrians with either Hillary or Trump. Pretty much even spread of both. So if you got sick of the politics this year, there you go. You can take your frustration out on whichever one you want. Which, yeah, that's a fun little bonus they added. That's nice. I liked that. And it's got either side, which I approve of. You notice how much cash and time I have in this vehicle. That's just how strong this thing is. Like, when the last time I did when I actually defeated the super suppressor to keep it, I just went the wrong way. When I defeated it in order to keep it, I did not get that nice sandwich against the wall hit. He managed to avoid it and bounce off. Or actually, the one driving, it's a woman. It managed to bounce off and avoid the solid hit like that. So I had to keep running back and hitting it again and again and again and again. And I was getting like 20 minutes a hit. I had 3 hours worth of time when it finally went down. And there's another map I did that in. I grabbed this vehicle, ran out, and the opponent had one as well. There was one of these for the cops on the map. And I got in this spot down in like this tank, like a storage liquid tank, where I was just running circles in the bottom, and every time I completed a lap, I slammed into the other car and got like 20 minutes. And I would just keep doing this over and over. Look at that. I just ran through a pair of mines, and this car barely noticed. Now this will do some damage to me. But I just want to see what happens now. As I sit on the train tracks. Now this thing, like I said, I've got power of 5 right now, which makes the braking not really want to work. Here we go. Oh! Because the 5th car was on the track and got wrecked, I got credit for finishing it, so I never got to see what happened to me when I got hit by the car, or the train. That's a shame. But you've now seen how to get the ultimate vehicle in this game. You have to get this vehicle first to do it. You know what? I'll stay on the same map, and I'm just going to race this time. Let's go ahead and change the car. Yeah, you can see who the driver is. Agent Debbie O'Nuts. We will hop in. And there's no different paint jobs or rims for these. It just is what it is. Now, the problem with this car, this vehicle, you can't see over it, basically. It's awful. It's got the trailer behind it, which I can unhook, but I'm not gonna. Feeling legless. That was one of the power-ups they added in Reincarnation. That just vehicles or pedestrians in front of you, it takes their legs off. It's beautiful. It's great. And they eventually do bleed out and die. So it is a great way to thin the herd, as it were. There's one that takes off arms and legs. There's one that takes off arms. And then there's Give Me Head, which just takes her head off. It's awesome. See? Trailer attached. Look at this thing. You can actually get a jump start and go before the counter counts down, but you get a penalty for that. Not much of a penalty, but still a penalty. And everyone else starts driving too. But just look at this thing. And yeah, it's hard to control with the trailer back there because the trailer's wiggling back and forth, and you can jackknife. Just look at this. But look at how much damage you do. Like, just driving. I'm not barely even slowing down when I hit him. I'm just taking him for a ride. Now, I will go play with the other Super Suppressor in mind and see what happens. Without doing the granite car this time either. I'm just going to turn around and nail him. Alrighty, let's do this. Howdy, officer. Boom! Half an hour right there. However, it's still alive. Let's wreck its trailer. Look at that. Another half hour of time and a whole bunch of cash. Just for that little hit. That's what I love about these real supercars. Now I can spend half an hour, or I can spend an hour just playing around if I wanted to. That's another 15 minutes right there. On a little hit like that. The other power-up that I have down there that I could purchase is the splitter ray, which, yes, I got for this vehicle to try to take it out, and it did not kill it when I tried. Sometimes it will, because, you know, getting split in half is generally not good for your car. But, see there, I'm already up to 2 hours of playtime allowed right now. And there's another car trying to harass me and just not having any luck. Ivan the bastard back there, driving the bear, just, yeah, Ivan's gone now. Ivan was playing with cars way out of his league. Poor Ivan. Oh, who came up this time? The Plow. Don Dumpster and his The Plow. Oh, God, am I stuck? My trailer's making it so I'm kind of jackknifing here. Here we go. Yeah, trailers, like I say, trailers were added to max damage. They weren't even in Reincarnation. And I am so glad they finally managed to do it, because this is something they'd wanted to do since the original game, like I said, and they just couldn't get it to work then. So one of the cars that was supposed to have... Ooh, wow, I actually got wrecked pretty hard there, too. One of the cars that was supposed to have a trailer, they ended up just doing the front part without the trailer. And the Splat Pack has Rigor Mortis without the trailer. Just the diesel cab itself. But now we can get the full vehicles like this. Just look at this. I mean, I'm at 2.5 hours now. 3.5 hours. If I wanted to just sit and idle for 3.5 hours on this map, I could. I'm not going to, but... No, I'm just going to play with this guy. Aw, yeah. Only when I defeat this guy will I take my trailer off. That's my goal now. I'm going to wreck him, then I'll take the trailer off and drive without it for a while. The trailer does make you heavier and thus gives your impact a bit more weight. I'll show off a couple of the other modes too. I'm just playing. I'm having fun, man. Whee! Swing it around. Are you dead yet? Come on! Look at this. I can't kill this thing. This is what I'm saying. This is usually how long it takes to defeat this guy. This is why this car is so hard to get, this vehicle. Because even if I had solid granite car, if I had a solid granite car, I'd be hitting it with about the force I'm hitting it right now. Because this car, it's so heavy, it basically is a solid granite car. So these are the impact speeds you'd be seeing. Go away! You're making me so I can't turn for him. You are dead. Oh, now you're going to sideswipe me so I can't kill him? You bastard. Turn my siren on too then. How do you feel about that? See, now I'm in trouble because he's the one, or she's the one getting all the good hits off. There we go. Now I'm lined up for you. Oh, Otis, you poor, poor thing. Look at this. 320 minutes now of time to mess around. Just because of how much power this thing gives on each hit. Half an hour on one hit. It's messed up. It's broken how much. And how much damage this thing takes. I'm farming on it. Look at that. I've got almost 500,000 points. Mostly just from tossing this guy around. Swing, baby. Use the trailer to swing the vehicle around. Wait, where'd it go? Where'd it go? Where, oh where is the super suppressor hiding? There you are! See, that's another thing. The cops don't show up on the map. The other cars do. But the cops don't. Which can make it annoying trying to find them sometimes. $400 minutes! Ooh, can I drag you all the way? Can I drag you all the way to the wall? Look at that hit! It was obscene, and it still didn't destroy it. Mostly because I wrecked the trailer and not him, but... Look at that, 100,000 in a single hit. This is nuts. This is how you farm points if you need to for any reason. Although I can't think of a reason to, because it's not like points are currency in this one. Out of the way, Don! I said, out of my way. You're getting out. You're getting another 100,000 points. Oh, I wonder what. I'm going to see if I can wrap the score on this, or what the limit of the display for the timer is. Will it display 1,000 minutes? Let's find out. Oh! Where'd you go? You reset. There you are. Yeah, they'll reset also. They will. I want to get your side wrecked against the wall again. Your trailer. Because if I wreck your cab, I'll end this beautiful, beautiful thing we've got. That's the thing. That's one of the reasons for the trailer. I'm getting so much damage to him, but it's all damage to the trailer, which doesn't actually impact the vehicle. So, you know, I was slamming, getting those huge hits, pinning him to the wall, but it was all the trailer. It wasn't the actual car. And that's good. That's how you farm. You're farming this for days. At this point, it would be farming it for days. Look at how many hours I got. We're almost there. Got about 100 more minutes to go. About 3 good hits should do it. Two good hits ought to do it. You ready, Internet? We're going to see if you can wrap the scores around on this. Boom! 1,000,000 points on the map. Need a couple more. But yeah, see the AI, there's almost always one opponent on the map that's trying to wreck you. Which is just silly. I mean, especially right now. Like, Dawn, go away. You are a gnat. Where did you go, suppressor? Super suppressor, where are you? Here, super suppressor. Oh, you're behind me, aren't you? Nope. There you are. I see you. Where are you running? Where are you running? Where are you running? Oh my god, it'll display 1,000 minutes. Holy crap. That is crazy. I doubt I'm going to get up to 10,000 minutes, but I'm still going to play this. I'm still going to wreck this guy. You see how difficult this is. Even in the same vehicle, you see how long it's taking to try to take this guy down. That's why that granite car that punched him into the back wall, that was so lucky. And the problem is, the trailer is what you hit most of the time. You have to hit the cab. Pardon me. This is the only map this guy shows up in. That was the location for it. So if you want this vehicle and you have max damage, that's how you get it. Man, this thing's just not going to fall. Goodbye, Otis. Wow, Otis is still alive. That's weird. Thought for sure that'd crush him. You saw there, he saw that I was going for a head-on, and she slowed down to try to prevent it. It's another thing with the AI there. They don't like going head-on with you, because they know they'll take a lot of damage too, so... So we got what left? Dawn and... Ah! Ouch. I love that actually wrecked the... Oh, wow, it did. It actually wrecked the concrete pillar more than it wrecked me. I didn't think you could wreck those concrete pillars. Nice. Oh my god. Okay, enough is enough. We've had our fun. Now please get squished. This is just crazy. Oh, there we go. Hammerhead and Project X. Yeah, that didn't take much to kill, now did it? But there's still the plow out here somewhere. Plow's coming for me. I hope I don't kill the plow before I get super suppressor. There you are. Die already! Oh my god, it won't die! 100 tons of steel and it just won't die. I couldn't get him. Holy crap. See how hard that thing is. That's what normally happens. That's why that first round where I got the easy kill, that is rare. That is a new record for me too. Woo! All right, let's try some of the other modes real quick. Okay, about 20 minutes left. Now, I've done all the other modes in all the other games, so the only things I have left to do are the race and pedestrians, as you can see. But let's see, what is this? This is the death race. Ped chase. Car crusher. Oh, I know exactly. Can I find the one? It's not the one I like, but I think this is it. I'm going to change my car because I don't want to be in this thing for that. And this is a wreck one. But let's go ahead and use... This is the vehicle that was the Kickstarter award, the Tez Eagle. And I really like the way that looks. And here's the Iron Hawk, which actually kind of looks more like the Eagle 2, to be honest, or Eagle 3. The Hawk R and the Eagle R reincarnation. And it looks a lot like the original Eagle does. The Eagle had some upgrades throughout the various games. Annihilator. Well, let's show off all the vehicles. The Annihilator. This car sucks. It can't turn. Like, don't play it. The Kunstlash. I'm going to try to be a Countach, and that's the best they could come up with. It's not bad. It's kind of a weak car. The Razor Bill. Auto Scum there. That's an older car. It's kind of fun. Toshida, that's actually kind of fun. I haven't driven it yet. Let's customize it and do it. No, not in this match. I'm too high level. The Cleaver, the Voltsworker. Again, some of these have special skins on them that I have right now. The Degorian, the Cavian Toucan. This is one that was added from Reincarnation. Snaky Bastard. I do not like this car at all. The Twister, that's been around forever. Shred Light, you've seen this one, Madame Scarlet's car. Stiff Shifter, you've seen this guy around. Tropikill. The Bear, another classic. Crazor, and I'll go ahead and jump in this one. The Heavy Impaler, added from Resurrection, but this is actually an older car as well. Catty Fat Cat. And of course mine's pink. You gotta have pink. Project X, added from Resurrection. Towmeister. With Psycho Pitbull. Siamese Dream. I think this was added from Resurrection. I don't think Resurrection had this. You know what? I've not driven this yet. Let's do that. Go ahead and customize it. I've not driven it yet, so we'll go ahead and do that. Lumberer. I thought it was a Lumberjacker, but anyway, Lumberer. The Blitzkrieg. I love this car. This is great. The Rigo Mortis. I have not driven this yet in this game either, as you can tell. The Plow. Electric Blue. This is the first of the cheater cars. Now, you have to earn these in order. So, and this is basically the last one that you can earn in the game. You have to be on or near the end game to get these also, because it unlocks what tier you can unlock them in. And then, of course, the police cars. You get that one for beating the game. You've seen this one. Oh my, have you seen this one? You see how hard that actually is to defeat. And the Suppressor it's going to be on a few maps before the Super Suppressor. If you can wreck it anywhere, it's yours, basically, I think. And then we're back to the Eagle R. So there's all the cars in the game, with the exception of the APC that I don't have access to. And let's go ahead and jump in here. I don't know if this was my favorite of the wreckers, if this is the arena or not, but we'll go ahead and see what this is like. Now, all these extra modes, with the exception of this one, because this is just, your goal here is to get the most kills possible. In the extra modes like Death Race, your goal is to complete as many laps, to get the most laps. Pedestrian chaser, your goal is to, there's a highlighted pedestrian, your goal is to go kill it. And there's a kind of capture the hill type one, bull run, where there's a checkpoint that spawns throughout the map. And this is one of the changes they made. If it spawns on top of you, you get it. It used to be that if it spawned on top of you, you had to exit and go back in. But in max damage, if it spawns on you, you get it. So you get lucky that way sometimes. In all of those modes, if you wreck an opponent, you can steal a point from them. If they have a point. And, of course, if you destroy yourself, like I almost did there, you can end up losing a point. Yeah, this is not the map I thought it was. We're just back on Roswell again. So I'm actually going to exit this one and try to find the one that I was looking for. I'm still going to use this car. I think this will be the last run for the day. Oh yeah, there's also, this is, I'll do one of these as well, I think, if I have time. The Fox and Hound. You tag the fox, it's kind of like reverse it. You know, I'm sure you kind of all know what Fox and Hound is like. There's the one I wanted. I'm sure you all kind of know what Fox and Hound is like. You have to be the fox for a certain amount of time. Now, if you get wrecked, you lose, or you get time back added to you. Because you have, it counts down is what it does. And it only goes up to maximum. But supposedly you can, if you wreck someone, they get time back added to them. So it's a way to help try to keep people from winning if they're getting close to it. Although usually the best thing to do is just get Fox as quickly as possible and run like hell. One thing that does, and I'll show you, it takes your map away so you can't see where they're coming from. And you get some weird pile-ups doing that too. Now, let's see. Object spin. Oh, yes. Solid granite car right from the start. Let's wreck somebody. Oh, I need to be going at a decent speed. Oh, missed! Oh, didn't wreck them. Come on, get you up against the wall. No! Someone get wrecked. Got one. Woo! That's 1 point. Just need 7 more. We can do this. Oh, how did you not get wrecked? There you go. And yes, I always try to sandwich them because you do a lot more damage if you can sandwich them like that. And yes, I'm constantly hitting the repair button for myself. Oh, nice. Afterburner. Bye-bye, bear. But this is the map, one of the maps they added that I absolutely love. SBD. Silent but deadly. I drop a cloud of gas. Like that. And it slowly, acidically eats away at cars inside. And kills pedestrians. Oh, this car sucks. Why am I in it? This is why I've never driven it before. It's awful. Pelvic thrust. That's a fun one to use. If I can find one. It's just a little bit of extra damage right there. Shunt forward and nail them. Ah! Ah! No! There's oil there. If there wasn't oil, I'd be lined up to kill him. No! Ah, I just bounced off him that time. Damn it. Ooh, damage modifier. Yes. Oh, no! And I repair from wreck. You can just wait. Because sometimes repairing from the wreck, they'll get repaired, and you get wrecked again right away, and you repair, you get wrecked again. You're just basically giving them a bunch of points that way. You got to be careful of that. Haha! Suck mines! Wait, there's a cop car here? What? Who wrecked me? Oh! Oh, this car is just not good. Whoops, that mine went the wrong way thanks to the oil slick. Yes! Got Pitbull! Now, they all respawn in this because, well, that's the whole point. Ow! He almost wrecked me right there. Ah, dang it. Pitbull got the credit. Stinger, what that does is it basically pops all the tires. It's great for that. Because you can basically disable a car doing that. Woo! Got another one. We're doing this. 5 out of 8. 3 to go. No, I need to get more damage. That's not more damage. Ah! Dang it! Oh, no, no, no! Ah! No! Grim just got me twice! Slaughter Mortar, yes! Ah! Didn't kill you! No, I missed! No! Wasted the Slaughter Mortar. Look at how many points I don't have anymore. Ah! I got wrecked again! See, at least you don't lose points when you get wrecked in this version. Oh, no! Not that! Crap, I thought I had another, jet forward one. Pelvic thrust. That's still more damage than not having it. Ah! Ow, ow, ow. You do more damage to me than I do to you. No! You only have 2 tires? How do you keep avoiding me? Ah! Wrecked again. I'm doing awful. God, I've been wrecked so often in this one. This car is terrible. Alright, let's get a bit of a run up here. And missed. I'm telling you, this car is awful. Dang it, it looks like Harry wrecked Scarlet. Because now he's ahead of me in points. I was doing so... Well, I wasn't doing that well, but I was doing well. Doing better than this. Get a Spinatron there, it basically lets you turn faster. That's literally it. Which can be useful, don't get me wrong. There we go. Solid granite car. That's not solid granite car. That's immortality. Immortality, no matter how badly wrecked you are, you don't get wrecked anymore. No matter what condition your car is in, you just don't get wrecked. It's on a timer, of course. It's not forever, but... Slaughter Mortar! No, give me the Slaughter Mortar back. Slaughter Mortar, where are you? There you are. This is just a nice basic... And I missed! Oh, no! See, Scarlet jammed me up against the wall there. Oh, come on. One more hit should do it. I'm negative 50,000 points from all my repairing, so I'm never going to be able to buy anything. on! This car is so weak. Hit from behind and it automatically blows up. Car is awful. Oh, spastic opponents. That means they kind of control randomly now. So you'll see him spinning out a lot. There we go! Finally got another wreck. This will be the last one for the day. Like I said, for the Fox and Hound, it's basically you get the Fox and you run. That's pretty much all you do with it. It is the best way to win, and it's kind of boring that way. But, yeah, it works. It's fun. It's good quick points. Well, I hope you guys have enjoyed the show. I am going to finish this round. And then I will recap my top 10 of 1996 again. It's been a fun day. It's good to just relax every now and then and play a silly game. That was an APC. It's a very wrecked APC. But if you want to see what an APC looks like, that was it. Okay, Harry might win this one soon, so... Yeah, Harry won it. Dang it. Okay. Alright, well, that's Carmageddon. Max damage. I totally suggest that one. Great game. Lots of fun. Once again, my 1996 top PC list that I played. Number 10, Realms of the Haunting. Number 9, The Neverhood. Number 8, Quake. Number 7, Rocket Jockey. Number 6, The Elder Scrolls II, Daggerfall. Number 5, Descent 2. Number 4, Strife. Number 3, Obsidian. Number 2, Diablo. And number 1, my favorite PC game of 1996, Duke Nukem 3D. Hope you all have enjoyed this show, and I hope you all have a much better 2017 than you had 2016. Even if you had a good 2016, have a better 2017. Try to look on the bright side of life. Because Lord knows there's been a lot of problems, there's been a lot of trouble, but there are good things too. And if we can focus on those positives, it's just going to be better all around, I think. And that's helping me right now because I had some bad times in 2016 too, and I know my friends did. But try to smile as we look ahead in the future. I know if you have depression, because I do have depression, when people say that, it's like, well, gee, thanks. If I could do that, I would. But it helps to try to not dwell on the negative. It's hard, and sometimes that's all your brain focuses on, but the best we can do is hope. Until next time, Internet, it probably not going to be tomorrow. It might be tomorrow. We'll see what happens. But until then, take care and enjoy the games you play.